With new details on Seth Rollins and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for November 25th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Following his retirement from in-ring competition, Kurt Angle found himself as a producer in WWE until he was let go last year in April. On Talk Is Jericho, Angle mentioned that he was not surprised by his release. "I took the job as a producer/agent. I did it for a year. I wasn't very good at it. The thing is, I don't like computers and you have to use a damn computer all the time. Vince is like, Kurt, open up your computer. I don't even know how to do this thing. I was good at giving the guys ideas for the matches, but I wasn't really a quality producer. So when the pandemic hit, I was one of the first ones let go, and I don't blame Vince for that." On WWE's The Bump, Undertaker touched on the run Omos has had so far, saying he's the closest thing to Andre the Giant. "I'll say this, there will never be another Andre, but this guy is as close as we've come, and that's a big statement. But he's special. Omos is special. The big thing for him to know and realize is that he is special, and that he is different from everybody else. The average size of wrestlers in general is smaller than it was. So here's this guy that is incredibly athletic, and he's just a big strong man. It's important for him that he protects that. Sometimes guys don't understand what that means. He and I have had a couple of conversations about what he should do and what he shouldn't do. If things get too heated, call me." With Omos recently winning the Rock 25th Anniversary Battle Royal at Survivor Series, it remains to be seen what is next for the big man. Speaking to Inside the Ropes, Jeff Hardy opened up on some of his creative pitches where he touched on a match where the ring spins. What if there was a match to which he wrestled for 5 minutes and then the ring starts spinning, and then it spins at a certain speed for a certain amount of time, and then it can stop? Naturally, you'd get dizzy, but then another 2 minutes or whatever, it starts to spin again, but now it's a little faster. I'm just curious to see if you can run spots as the ring's spinning and be safe about it. An upward spiral match. Jeff previously mentioned that there will be a reunion with his brother Matt, as we'll have to see if they both end up in AEW or somewhere else. The health of Hulk Hogan has been a topic of concern recently, with many noting that he is having issues. Now Eric Bischoff has mentioned that the Hulkster is going through physical therapy. He's overcoming a lot of physical challenges. "I was just with Hulk a week and a half or 2 weeks ago and he is training. Although the training is a little bit different than it used to be, he's doing his physical therapy 4 or 5 days a week, a couple hours a day. Gets home and spends another hour or 2 in the gym and is eating as healthy as he can eat, and I'm sure he's praying his heart out to try to get a lot of the mobility back that 17 back surgeries and a couple hip replacements will take away from you." With Jim Ross going through radiation treatment for skin cancer, he will more than likely be missing AEW shows, as Dave Meltzer noted. If nothing else, the way he said that was a thing of saying that he may not be, and I think he doesn't know. He has 22 days of radiation starting on Monday, so it may not be. You know, if he's doing 22 straight days, I don't know if he'll be able to go. If he's up to it, he could be gone for a few weeks. Hopefully everything works out. While it was noted that JR wants to work, we hope he is able to recover and come back to commentary when he's ready. New Japan star Rocky Romero was able to make his AEW debut and perform on Dark and Dynamite thanks to the partnership between the two companies. While there were rumors of New Japan working out a deal with WWE back in May, Romero gave details behind these talks. With AEW, they have a true understanding of New Japan and what the product is, and have a complete respect for the history of the product, for what the product is, for the wrestlers and how they do it. Obviously, because New Japan wrestlers kind of leaving New Japan helped start AEW. So though there's always been that crossover connection. It just seems to make sense in the grand scheme of things with both companies working together, and I think it's just been the beginning of it. And I think that this is going to be like the Hangman Page Kenny Omega feud. This is going to be a long-term thing, so I think people are excited, of course, and they're ready for Okada to show up and fight Kenny at Full Gear or something. But I think this is going to be a long-term thing because both companies are building themselves up right now. Speaking of the Forbidden Door, Romero would go on to explain on the Battleground podcast how Kenny Omega and Tony Khan brought New Japan and AEW together. Well, Tony's always been cool. He's always, I feel, been open to the idea, right? Then you have Jericho, who is somebody who's always wanted to make it happen ever since he went over to New Japan to wrestle Tanahashi. This was kind of the beginning of it. Tony giving the okay to bring the AEW belt. That was the thing. So it kind of started with Jericho. Obviously, Moxley being a guy who's important to both companies, and Moxley always wanted to do something and kind of being that main focal point because he wasn't mixed up into the drama of what was going on between AEW and New Japan and wrestlers. Then the third big component I feel besides Tony was obviously Kenny being a part of it. Kenny was one of the ones who reached out first and just said, hey, I know Moxley and Kenta have this thing, and obviously he had a big rivalry with Moxley as well, so Moxley being the focal point. Kenny and New Japan had their issues as he left New Japan to join AEW, so that was a big step in the right direction. Obviously Kenny is incredible at what he does, literally one of the best. He's a true pro, and to see the grand picture, he was the one who helped facilitate that amongst at least the EVPs. With Roman Reigns coming out on top in his match against WWE Champion Big E, his special counsel Paul Heyman talked to Sports Illustrated about Roman's goals for after Survivor Series. The next goal for Roman Reigns is clear, and that is to be better tomorrow than he is today. His goal is to be better in 2 weeks than he is next week, to make next week's SmackDown better than this week, and to make the SmackDown that airs in 3 weeks better than it is in 2 weeks. Roman continues to set a pace and achieve levels that no one in WWE has ever or will ever achieve. The world has the privilege and joy of watching it unfold every Friday on SmackDown. Despite Cody Rhodes previously saying he has no intention of turning heel in AEW, he looks to be well on his way to becoming a de facto villain. On the latest Dynamite, Rhodes was heckled by chanting fans with a noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, so this is the report from someone who was there. On Cody Live, there were actually many, if not more people cheering or booing, but the people booing were really loud and obnoxious. It actually did get ugly. There were people who were chanting retard at Cody, and people started booing. It was a pretty bad scene during the main event in the crowd. Cody did seem to tease a heel turn, as this could be a sign of things to come. Hangman Page is finally AEW champion after defeating Kenny Omega for the title at Full Gear. Many fans have been waiting for this moment, as Ric Flair took to his podcast to say, I have liked him since day one, and I think him being the champion now is long overdue. I believe he's great. I only know him just said hi and have shaken his hand a couple of times, but he is respectful. Page works incredibly hard in the ring, he possesses a really good gimmick, he's a very handsome young man, and I think he should have a hell of a run with the title. After disbanding their Japanese division, WWE fired more than 100 employees. Now, it's been reported by J Sports that Raw and SmackDown broadcasts will come to a close in Japan this year, with video on demand ending the year after. Notice of end of WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown broadcast and end of J Sports on demand WWE Pack service. Thank you for watching J Sports. December 31st, 2021, all 6 programs of English version / Japanese subtitle version / highlight version of Raw and SmackDown that have been delivered to WWE fans nationwide for many years. Broadcasting / distribution of the pay-per-view tournament will end on December 27th. In addition, the video distribution service J Sports On Demand paid product WWE Pack will end on January 31st, 2022. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to everyone who has watched J Sports WWE programs for a long time. Notice regarding J Sports On Demand WWE Pack, J Sports On Demand WWE Pack will end on January 31st, 2022 and will be automatically canceled, but in January except for Raw number 14 $14.92, Japanese subtitle first delivery, overlooked delivery content will be provided only. If you do not wish to watch the content in January, please cancel the contract by the end of December. Please note that if you do not cancel the contract in December and continue the pack in January 2022, you will be charged the viewing fee for January of the WWE pack. Please check the following notes before proceeding. When it comes to the fan that attacked Seth Rollins on Raw this week, Eliza Spencer recently told the New York Daily News that he was trying to help another WWE star who was attacked by Rollins. My plan was to help Finn Balor. I'm a fan. I like his aura, his attitude. I like everything about his charisma. I like everything about him. I jumped from where I was sitting at. I ran and speared Seth Rollins. I busted his lip open and he caught me in a headlock. I broke the headlock and I was trying to get him. Then the referees and the security guards broke us apart. With him expected to appear in front of a judge in December, Spencer did say he was sorry. I apologized to WWE for my actions. I had a legitimate beef, but as a grown man, I could have settled it a different way. If I saw him today, I wouldn't attack him. I'd moved on. Speaking of Rollins' attacker, his girlfriend's checks bounced because she did not have enough funds, which led to her arrest. On Wrestling Observer Radio, it was said the guy followed Seth Rollins on Instagram, but it wasn't the real Seth. It was a fake Rollins masquerading as Seth, and the guy asked him to write a bunch of checks, like $3,000 worth of checks and things like that. So apparently he told his girlfriend to write a check for $3,000, and the check bounced because she didn't have the funds. So she got arrested for writing a fraudulent check, which he blames on Seth Rollins. Of course, the real Seth had no knowledge of this. AEW star Austin Gunn recently apologized for tweets from 2013 where he used racial slurs. As he said, extremely insensitive tweets/replies I made when I was 17 in 2013 have been brought to my attention. I don't have the words to describe how I'm feeling right now. There is no excuse for it, and I am deeply sorry. I majored in elementary education in college, and throughout that process I took multiple meetings dealing with sensitivity, how to treat others, and to understand the severity of actions and words, which cannot be undone once they happen. All I ask is that you do not judge me based solely on these tweets, but on the man I've become, and that I am trying to constantly get better. I am someone that always wants to maintain a positive energy, support any and everyone, and not judge them based off the color of their skin or any other proxy. I'm addressing this mistake because it's important to point out things that you learn from and to take ownership of your failings. And I am learning every day. I know the term people make mistakes gets thrown out without any meaning truly behind it. I am trying to become a better version of myself. For that reason, and to make progress towards being the man I want to be, I apologize to anyone I've hurt with these tweets. To the wrestlers in the back, to the fans around the world, to everyone, I am sorry. AEW regularly provides excellent sensitivity programs that I have attended multiple times. I want to continue to learn from my mistakes, improve my view on the world, and strive to be a person my parents would be proud of. I was not raised this way. I do not condone this behavior or the use of these words, and I am extremely sorry. Thank you for reading. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.